Here we are, wrist strengthening and mobility drills that I use for both Pilates and indeed rock climbing. Fairly straightforward. Notice how my arms or my hands are clasped initially, and I'm just working through a full range of movement. You may hear or feel some clicky movements. As long as you go slowly, you'll be absolutely fine. Swap the hands across, of course, and then we go on to the next drill. And eventually I will bring my forearms closer together. And then I gradually build up the ranges of movement. Now I'm moving through these drills at a reasonable speed here, but feel free to take a lot longer than this if required. And on most occasions I will take up to 5 minutes to perform all these drills that you're seeing demonstrated here. So move on then. And I'm going to work the finger flexors now with gentle pulsive movements, everything under control, and make sure I don't suddenly overload these fingers. It's a gradual pulsive movement. And then I warm them up, then I keep the fingers flat to the mat, then I work into this further. Now a lot of climbers, and indeed weight trainers, particularly people who are doing pull-ups for instance, will suffer from what we call golfer's elbow or medial epicondylitis. So the inside of the elbow, the medial aspect sometimes where the flexor tendon attaches becomes inflamed. This helps prevent this over time. However, you need to practice this regularly for it to be as effective as it can be. You'll also notice I'm attacking the wrist joint and the associated muscles, tendons, from a variety of angles. So I leave no stone unturned. My quest to strengthen and stretch my wrists and deal with some of the imbalances you tend to find with activities like rock climbing, for instance, where you're using the forearm flexors predominantly. And then we move on, and you may not be able to get into this range of movement initially, so don't be tempted to try and jam your wrist down onto the mat. Just build up the range of movement gradually, and eventually we'll get there. And as I say, one of the things you'll notice is a dull ache in the wrist, and that isn't a problem provided there isn't any sharp pains, which you should be able to be aware of if you do anything untoward with the wrist. Now, this dull ache is very much part of the strengthening process that actually affects the bones of the wrist. So eventually, over time, you will start to develop thicker and stronger wrist bones. And this exercise here, people find it quite difficult to perform, and some people find it quite nauseating to perform. So once again, go very carefully into that particular drill. So I'll quickly rewarm my wrist joints so my hands are clasped, and then I change direction. And then finally I'll go on to an exercise designed specifically to strengthen the wrist further. And I'm in a plank position, I'm rocking forward, and I'm loading my fingertips. And you notice I have a quasi-claw grip with my fingers, and my arms are straight. And eventually I'll bring my body further and further over the fingers. And I'll bring them into a greater claw, therefore strengthening the flexors and the flexor tendons even further. It's all about balance. What you do one side of the body, you must do it to the other. I'm now going to just remobilize very, very quickly before I finish up my exercise regime.